this is Dazzling One, and this week I'm going to tie some current events with biblical prophecy, specifically the direction in which the world is going with a failing economy and a cashless society. An economic collapse is inevitable. There is an enormous debt, and it's evident by the amount of businesses closing down chains in different cities. Consumers don't have the same amount of money that they used to. If you take a look at articles talking about Aeropostale closing down their stores in malls near you. I was looking at some of the list here, but I've seen that many other stores are just not doing so well. The same with Sears, the same with Walmart announced they were closing down many of their stores. So to me, that's one omen. And if you have been watching the stock market, there were some rough patches throughout last year into this year. And I have to throw this in here. The Simpsons has a knack for predicting the future. One eerie thing The Simpsons predicted was Trump becoming president. In a 2000 episode of The Simpsons, Lisa becomes president after Trump leaves office and the economy is broken. And it is creepy that he ran for president later on. He was leaving in 2030 and this is 2016, so he would only be able to stay the longest 2024. However, just given everything else that they have been able to call, it doesn't seem very promising. So simultaneously, technology is rapidly advancing. And with technology, we're seeing more virtual reality, robotics, biometrics, and with biometrics, new ways in which you can pay. There are these new chip cards which have a galore of issues, and Walmart is even suing Visa because of this. But with biometrics, it means that rather than paying with cash, debit, or a credit card, you can pay with your fingerprint, which to me is very invasive. They're doing that in Japan. Korea is moving towards a cashless society, and we're definitely moving towards a cashless society in the West as well. There's that push for placing an RFID chip in your hand. You can just swipe it and you're good to go. But outside of viewing this as some type of omen tied to the Bible, the dangers of having a chip inside you outweigh the benefits, like not worrying about losing your money or it being unique to you. I'm going to go a little science fiction and dystopian on you, so these are some of the grim possibilities if we have a cashless society. Someone could kidnap you and keep you as prisoner and make you buy stuff for them. You would be able to be tracked, and some people have no problem with it because they say I'm a good law-abiding citizen. I would never do anything to make myself want it, but to me, just the fact someone knows everywhere you are is unsettling. You can be hacked, maybe even given a virus, literally, so someone could hack into you. Someone very tech-savvy who hates you could hack you, and while we think computer virus, if it's inside of your body, maybe it could have an effect on your health. It could evolve to something a little more Orwellian, like the ability to have your thoughts read, and you could be punished before you even acted on a crime. Or you could be punished for a thought that might be intolerant. Given the political correctness of our society, we could have thought police. And it could become far worse, like movies like In Time, where the undesirable population, currency, which could become time, or their vitality could be shut off, while the wealthier live longer. And it could serve as a means of depopulation. It could possibly be used to sterilize someone. I also believe that it could come to the point where it starts to alter your DNA. The chip cards that I talked about earlier have difficulty working, so who's not to say that these chips in your hand would fail to work at times? Or if you're blacklisted, maybe someone would shut off the currency so you could go from having, let's say, 500 grand in your bank to having nothing. If you refuse to evolve with the cashless society, you could become an outcast, which could mean that you are unable to participate with the rest of society. And a few years ago, I discussed the whole iCloud hacking scandal with the celebrities and how I believe that it was deeper than just a few celebrities' nudes being leaked. I believe it was used first for promotion, or it could have even been its own humiliation ritual of sorts. But also, it's to get us to think more about our privacy and worry. And with this cashless society, it's not just going to be cash that's going to be stored in you. It will be your apps, your documents and files, all of it can be stored within you and it can be safer for you. That way, whenever you're using technology, you can just wave your hand over it and all of your data follows you everywhere you go, which a lot of people would be willing to go with if they feel that they run the danger of being hacked or their privacy violated. It's now within them, so it would decrease the risk of that, supposedly. So you may ask, how do I believe this all ties into the mark of the beast, or do I believe that this is the mark of the beast? And in Revelation 13, verse 16 through 17, it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." So while a chip in the body presents a grim future, I'm convinced that it's not merely a chip inside of one's body that will be the mark of the beast, and the reason is when I look at Revelation 14, verse 9 through 10. "And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb." So those who take the mark of the beast, there is no redemption, and they cannot remove the mark. It also has a spiritual connection because it's tied to the worship of the image of the beast. So a chip you can remove. A chip doesn't necessarily have a spiritual connection. You could get the chip without caring a thing about the image of the beast. But someone who alters their DNA to fit the image of the beast, that would have the effects, because you're no longer made in the image of Yahweh, you're now in the image of the beast. So when I tie this all together with a cashless society, first we have to have an economic collapse, and then we have to rebuild. We may choose to rebuild by doing away with cash, debit, or credit cards because it's too cumbersome and problematic, and it's safer, and that way people can be monitored, and it will lead into evolution. And the evolution could be DNA altering. They could market it as, if you take this DNA, then you'll be wiser, smarter, healthier, fit forever. But each thing, in my opinion, is a progression. I don't think all of this is just simply a fulfillment of prophecy, but it is happening in stages. And so my advice to you is to please pray and be aware of what's going on. And if you can, inform others. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week. Take care, and Yahweh bless you.